Ever wondered how people become entrepreneurs? How they make money without having a 9 to 5? What about the people that have made their money, acquired millions? How do they continue to have their money work for them? Knowledge is power, my people. Unfortunately, most people aren't too fond of sharing such information without a cost. So here it is for free. All I ask in return is that you pay it forward, share this info with others. This is Marlo Nicole, and you're listening to Business Bullish, where we cover business and money matters from start to finish. You can find me on Instagram at Miss Marlo Nicole with an MS Marlo Nicole, or at www.marlonicole.com. Thanks for listening. Today's Business Bullish podcast is sponsored by Just Marry Cannabis and JustMarryDelivery.app. Locally sourced cannabis goods delivered to your door, serving the greater Los Angeles area. Download the app today. JustMarryDelivery.app. Dawn, welcome to Business Bullish. Thank you for letting me interview you and introduce you to my people. We love hearing about us Black women and women in general doing great things, and I've been intending to interview you for a while, so I'm glad I finally caught up with you when you're not on the tractor or something, knocking down walls.
Right.
Tell everybody about yourself.
I moved to LA when I was about 12 years old. My father passed away, and my mother just really felt like this would be the best place for me to be and to grow up and to see a different part of the world, because I grew up in Massachusetts. And so we moved to the beach in Playa del Rey. I went to Westchester High School. I went to Santa Monica College. Then I went to Long Beach State University and got my BA. I had every intention on going to law school at Loyola or Pepperdine, actually. And things happen. And I got introduced to Tina Marie at a very young age. And she was like, first things first, you're going to come out on the road with me. But I was in college and high school at the same time. And I was telling her, yeah, I go to Santa Monica College, but I failed to tell her I was going to Westchester High as well. And so she met my mother and they hit it off. And my mom was like, you have my blessings, and that just opened so many doors for me.
Wow. So from high school. So
That's
first
right.
of all, I see that glass in the back. How about a toast?
How about a toast? How about it? Salud.
Salute.
Salute to you. Salute to your
Make
audience.
Sure you're looking in my eyes.
Thank you for having me, by the way. Nothing better than a glass of wine in the middle of the afternoon, honey, and a good red glass of wine at that.
Yes. Well, I have some fruity stuff. I don't even know what it is, but it tastes like peach, so I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm going to go into how we met.
Okay, tell us how.
Remember.
Remind me how we met, because it's all a blur.
So we met at the Staples Center, and you were with Tashina Arnold, and she was performing the Star Spangled Banner. I don't remember where in the Staples Center we met, but what I do recall is some of my favorite pictures that I still have of us in the Hyde Lounge. We all ended up meeting in the Hyde Lounge. I want to say right after she sang the Star Spangled Banner, and we were sitting at this big round booth, and in the pictures, we're just leaning all on each other. You would have thought we had known each other for years.
That's what tequila does. That's what tequila does.
I don't drink tequila, so it wasn't that for me.
I'm talking about me. I don't know about you. I'm talking about me. I can only be responsible for me.
Understood. Man, that was a great night. So that's how we met. But after having met you, I never will forget coming over to your place. You lived in Pasadena at the time, and it was immaculate. It looked like a museum, very stylish, very different. It was modern. It was something that you see in a magazine. And I remember asking you, like, who did this? And you were like, me. I'll hook you up. I never knew how much of that you did, but just to step back, tell us how you got started in the entire celebrity styling world. And I know that you had some sort of an agency where you did everything. Yes. Start there and tell us about that. And then I'll stop you and we'll transition into some of the things that you're doing now.
For sure. So, after touring with Tina Marie, again, I was 17 at that time, maybe 18, and I was going to college. And like I say, I had just got out of high school by that time when I started working with her. Here I am, this, you know, spring chicken on this tour with all these like legends, you know, and Tina, you know, every night was different. Sometimes Tina would headline the show, sometimes Luther Vandross. It depended on what singles they had out at the time. Right. And so I just started meeting Patti LaBelle and all these people, and they just kind of like I gravitated to them, and they saw me, and I just started like working for each one of those artists, like doing various things. And then came Prince and Sheila E. and Whitney Houston and all these people who were coming out, but they were all literally legends. Like I was like, man, and I lived in Playa del Rey. So the Forum was right down the street. So a lot of the road managers who had known me from the tours would call me and say, hey, we're doing 6 nights at the Forum. Why don't you come down? And at that point, I was doing assistant road managing. I was behind the scenes. I was doing really big things. So the styling thing was really just for Tina in the beginning. So, you know, I would bring in New Edition or whatever, because they were young boys, you know, different people into the shows to see whoever was performing at the Forum. And I found myself, you know, on the stage, like on the wings or whatever, hanging out with, you know, Al Heyman and Wes and all those guys that were legends in the business, standing on the right side of the stage next to the sound mixers, watching Prince, watching Whitney, you know, going backstage, asking them if they good, what's going on. And so I started an agency because I was getting paid more than most people. I was getting paid before most people. And everybody in the business wanted to know, why are you getting your checks first? What is going on? Some of the band members weren't getting paid. So some of the hair and makeup people who had known me, you know, and wardrobe stylists had known me from back in the day, was like, hey, can you represent me? I'm not getting my checks. Can you, you know, I deserve more. You know, I'm working with these celebrities. Clearly they're making a lot of money and they could afford me. So I opened an agency, and I basically just wanted to represent people behind the scenes. Okay. I had already, you know, I knew what that looked like. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be tri-coastal. I'm going to throw my name in it. At that time, branding wasn't a thing, but I wanted my name to be in it. So I called it Dawn to Dusk Agency, hence the D2D bling bling, Dawn to Dusk Agency. So I started this agency, and I got a website right when websites were coming out, and my website spoke, it talked. And I had red curtains, and it opened up and it said, welcome, you have entered the world of Dawn to Dusk Agency. Sit back and relax. And it came on, it was like this futuristic thing. But when the curtains opened, it showed all of the hair and makeup and wardrobe stylists that I had represented. Sam Fine, Troy Jensen, Roberto Leone, Trey Major, Dawn Haynes. And then when you clicked on each one of these incredibly gifted, talented individuals, you saw Mary J. Blige, you saw Jada Pinkett Smith, you saw Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell, Halle Berry, all these A-list celebrities that either I was styling or the people that I represented had some sort of influence in this so-called glam squad. Okay. So we really started like cornering the market. And by that, I mean, like, I was like kicking it in Miami on the beach and sending my artists to Europe or to New York or to whatever to do Arsenio or Jay Leno or whatever with these artists.
Nice.
So literally, you know, they were making, you know, 3,000, 4,000 a day, you know, to fly over there. Then I would make 20% from them because I'm their agent.
Right.
And then I would make 20% from the record company because they're booking my agency. So I'm making 40%, kicking it on the beach, you know, just handling business.
Living the life.
Living the life, representing, doing what I do. And they too were getting the benefits of knowing that they were with an agency that cared about them, knowing that they were with an agency that saw their potential and saw their growth, you know, because every single time they walked on set, we had meetings prior to them going. I would tell them who the manager is. Make sure you say hello. Make sure you see Mary's sister and you go up and you know, let her know, you know, I'm here, you know, and, you know, we're here to make Mary look her best. And that's what my team was always, you know, even if there was another agency involved, I would always make sure that they held down their department. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Make sure that you go on there, you represent, you slam, and you know, you're professional. So in the industry, it just kind of became like, you know, if you want the best, you got to call Dawn. Now, she's not cheap, but you're going to get what you pay for.
Okay, so you also had a business where you were doing high-end vacation rentals.
Yeah, I mean, that came way later. You know what I mean? That came much later. After Dawn to Dusk, and like I say, representing all these clients, I started designing clothes. I started getting even bigger actresses and actors and flying around the world with them. Halle Berry, I did her entire James Bond press junkets in Europe and Russia and Spain and Italy and all this. And then, you know, I also did Usher, and Usher, you know, was, as we know, also like on top of his game. So then Eddie Murphy came back into my life, and, you know, I started doing him in the Oscars, and that just opened up doors. Like Donatella Versace was calling me, and
Wow.
Roberto Cavalli was calling me for Halle Berry, and Mr. Armani. When we would go to Spain or to Italy, I would go into their Dolce & Gabbana's showrooms, and they would just give me carte blanche. Pick what you want, get what you want. And then it got to a point where when I did the Oscars for Eddie, I did not want just anything off the rack. So she gave me the ability to design with her. So I designed tuxedos for him, and I found, you know, beautiful gowns for whoever he was dating at the time. But from scratch, I would design tuxedos for Eric Benet and Halle. I would, you know, it just became like, you know, it literally in my phone, oh, I got to call Donatella Versace's assistant because I'm changing Eddie's tuxedo design for the Oscars. And they would ship it in on a private plane just so that I could get it, so that I could make sure that every piece of this fabric was what I wanted, make sure that the lapel was good, everything. I mean, it was like, it was, you know, at the time I was like, yeah, this is cool. But
It sounds stressful.
You know, only time it's stressful is when they get on the red carpet. Common, Eddie, Luda, Jamie Foxx, Usher, all of them, when they get on that red carpet, and I know that the media is there, and the media is going to drill them and ask them, you know, questions or grade them later. So the scariest part for me was,
what are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Halle Berry, all of them, you know, they had studied these roles for months, and was on these, you know, with their coaches and, you know, in front of the screen. And okay, great. I'm thinking, you know, because I'm behind them. So I'm thinking that the person who's interviewing them is going to say, how did you prepare for this character role? No, who's your stylist? Who are you wearing? And I'm like, oh my God. And Halle was so gracious. She would always say, Dawn, she's right here. You don't know? Or, you know, she would go on The View, and I'm backstage, and the ladies on The View would ask her, Halle, who styled you? She's like, Dawn Haynes, she's right there. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm behind the scenes for a reason. I'm like a fine wine now. Now I want to be in front of the camera. I'm ready. I'm ready. You crazy, Marlo. I see you.
I said you sip by sip. You have done a lot. Cheers. We have a couple of things in common. Having lived in Playa, having gone to Westchester.
That's right. Westchester makes great people.
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you.
That's true.
But we have all of that in common. And then after all of these business ventures that you've gone through, I've never owned property in another country, but you know, I too have a background in buying real estate and having rental properties. So we just kind of hit it off. And then you turn around and you basically start doing construction management and development and renovations and basically from A to Z. And I'm like, no way.
So I'm all in. Whatever I do, I have got to give it all. Otherwise, I'm cheating you and I'm cheating myself, because I'm nothing less than 100. So
Right.
the whole idea of construction and renovation and all that really came about when I bought my house in Glendale. I bought a 1929 Spanish castle.
Nice.
It was beautiful. It was already beautiful, honestly. But again, I saw potential in this house that was greater than what it already was. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to renovate this kitchen because I hate where the window is. I don't like the cabinets. And before you knew it, I had gutted the entire house. There were no bedrooms. There were no windows. There were no floors. There were no doors. There was no bathrooms. I took it down to the studs.
Wow.
Literally. I fell in love with the bones of the home. So I met all of the people at the Glendale city permit departments, and they would just stamp my plans. Oh, I want to do this. Stamp, stamp. And everybody was like, oh, it's going to be so hard for you to get them to stamp your plans. Nah.
Relationships.
Relationships, you have got to have them, and you got to nurture them, and you got to water them like friendships. You got to keep feeding your friendships, your relationships. Otherwise, they wither and die. Something. In that time, though, my mother passed away. And that was just crushing to me. And I just started feeling like, what is this life about? And what am I going to do to make myself happy?
Right.
And then shortly after, Tina Marie passed. Like maybe a year after my mother passed, Tina Marie passed. So I lost my two maternal representations that molded me and meant the most to me in my life. I'm going to follow what is really helping me to see what my future could possibly look like. And I'm going to move to the islands. Now, I had this beautiful house. I had a Bentley. I had a relationship. I had a lot of stuff going on. And I was like, nope, I'm selling my house. And my friends were like, are you crazy? You took 3 years to build this masterpiece. You got all this stuff going. You got dawn to dusk. You got all. I said, no, I'm out of here. I put it on Facebook. I said, plan B. Now, this was April of 2011 or something. Plan B. I'm going to move to the islands. I don't know what I'm going to do there, but this is what I'm doing. 400 or 500 people said, I want to come. Can I be the pool person? Can I do this?
Manicurist and all of those things.
Yeah. So at that point, people were really excited at the idea of me moving to the Caribbean. I packed all my stuff up. I sold the house. I literally landed in St. Martin the same day my mother passed 3 years prior. Isn't that something? Right. So that just was confirmation for me that not only was it meant to be, but my mother was still with me in her own little, way. Right. And that was such a confirmation for me that, there are things that you put in the universe even without knowing. Because so that was really like a pivotal moment in my life that I walked away from a lot. I walked away from my career. I walked away from, something that I had built in Glendale, this home. And it meant to me that, some things, are literally what they say, a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And that season was an incredible season, but it wasn't forever.
So I was saying, speaking of seasons, I know you have interest in politics. You moved to DC for a minute, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I moved to DC because I became a political activist. And I felt that was a time for me to get to DC so I could be part of this movement for women. For women who own businesses, for entrepreneurs, for women who, had these dreams to continue to break that glass, shatter that ceiling. Yeah. So I literally, again, sight unseen, got a house on the lake in Fort Washington in Maryland. I flew there the day the Million Woman March. Again, Tashina flew in. She met me there. One of my childhood friends who lives in DC, her name is Susan. She met me and we marched and we laughed and we danced and we had a blast, even though we knew that Hillary lost, but we knew that, if nothing else, we had to celebrate us. And then the next day was the inauguration for Trump, and it just was all dark.
I wonder if people wish they had voted differently.
I wonder too, but you know, I say now, like, I don't live for yesterday. I know that there's a lot of stuff that has happened in our
Oh God.
past, and I like to, you know, drop nuggets every now and then. And you know, a lot of people live in the past still, and they have issues, and they, you know, talk
Over it.
about, well, what happened to them in the past. And yes, that is part of your story, but there's a point in which, you know, you really have to live for the now. And the now is, for me, it's peace, it's joy, it's perfect, divine, just clarity. I live in Palm Springs now. I'm in this environment where there's these mountains and palm trees, and
And peace.
you know, every day that I wake up, like, there's a force, there's this thing that happens within me, that when I meditate, before I put my feet on the ground, I have intentions. I have my, you know, my mind is clear, because I'm not in this chaotic environment where it's a hustle and you have to do this and you have to do this and make sure you do this and be careful because when you go outside. No, it's so peaceful. I'm in a place right now where I've taken time away from the so-called dating and relationships, and I've fallen in love with me again. And I take myself out on dates, and I buy myself things, and I spend quality time with myself. I cook myself the most elaborate dinners.
I heard that.
I buy the best wine for who? For me.
Me.
That's who I buy wine for. And I enjoy it. I go to get coffee in the morning at Whole Foods, and I ask them, what coffee bean are we using today? Where did it come from? Did it rain in that region? Right. I'm so like in tune and in touch with what I put inside of my body and who I surround myself with. You know, and it really has gotten to a place where right now I also am like at this place where, like, I can manifest people into my life. Mm-hmm. I could think about somebody and they call. I mean, there's so much power that I have within my own spirit that I know I don't know, I could conjure up anything just by thinking or writing it down on a paper, or, you know, yes, we can have like these beautiful storyboards or vision boards. And my vision board is almost in my mind. Like I see it full color.
It's so funny. Someone asked me yesterday, I cannot for the life of me remember who it was, but they said, Marlo, do you have a vision board? Mm-hmm. I said, you know, my vision board is just do. Like I see it and I just do it. Like I don't have to put it somewhere because it'll just kind of sit there for me.
My vision board is in my head, and that's why I relate so well with my clients, because when I tell them I see this, I see it right there, and it's going to be this, and this is what it's going to look like. And I can only show them by, oh, let me find a Pinterest board or da-da-da-da. Right. But it's really in here.
No, absolutely.
And it takes a minute for some of them to see it. And then I have some that just say, just do it. I don't need to be there. I don't need you to ask me. I don't need anything. And when they come home or when it gets to the end, they're like, oh my God. Like I heard you, but I didn't see what you saw.
Two things. Number one, let me clarify my vision board. So when I think of vision board, and what a lot of people, from my understanding, what they mean or what they have done when they say vision board is it's like a plan. It's a roadmap to something. For me, my vision board is actively doing it. Kind of like what you said, I'm a visual person. So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to lay it out. This is how I'm going to get it done, but I'm not going to sit on it. It's not going to just be on the wall for a month or 2 years or whatever. I am actively doing it. Now, in terms of your vision, I saw maybe a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, that you were doing some work with Sally Richardson. That's my sister. She doesn't
Sally
know
Richardson.
She doesn't know it, but she's actually like my sister. But I love what you were doing with their.
I think she's on my Facebook Live right now, actually, so she knows it now.
Tell her.
I saw her, Sally Richardson Whitfield. That's my dog. We've been friends forever. Dondre is my brother, and
I interviewed him. He might remember me from interviewing him on a radio show at GH3 Radio at Dash. He came out to the
studio. Well, I'll make sure I ask him and let him know that you
tell him I said.
Know, I'll ask him and I'll let her know that you are her sister from another mister. Right. I'm renovating Sally and Dondre's home now. Nice. We have some really amazing plans and some creative spaces. You know, there's 3 or 4 areas that I'm actually going to convert into different types of vibes for them. They have a basketball court I'm doing a golf putting range for them, and I'm, you know, doing like some outdoor barbecue bars, and then another area that's just going to kind of be like the chill zone. But yeah, Sally has been my friend for a long time, and I'm just so blessed and thankful that you know, that some of my clients that I used to style are now calling me to renovate their homes. And this is where I say, this is the story that, you know, I want to tell. I want to tell this story on HGTV or on Netflix or on Oprah's own. So, you know, I know you do, you know, you got connections, and I know you know how to produce, and I know I know you shop deals and all. So they say a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I literally wrote a little, I literally wrote a kind of like a pitch, and I put it on Facebook, and I put it on a couple of my social medias, and I just wanted to see. And before you knew it, people were like, tell us what channel we're watching. This is a story that has to be told. There's no faces on TV like you. So I was like, you know what? Again, here I am again, facing like another change, another opportunity to be able to pour into people who may not see someone like me, who may be in Mississippi or Wichita or whatever, and they don't see an African-American woman who is her own boss and does stuff her way and does stuff that's not necessarily girly. I'm not trying to be anything that people expect me to be. I am who I am, and I am comfortable, and I'm in love with who I am. And so I want to portray that to people. I want them to understand that there's nothing that you cannot do. And in this so-called show that I have in my head, I need to drop nuggets on people and let them know that nothing, not one thing is impossible. Everything is possible. You just have to see it, and you have to actively work on it. You can't lay in bed and pray for it, because God just does not operate like that. I'm so proud of you, because I know where you came from. I know where you were like 4 years ago. And I know, you know, you've done things that traditionally is not a woman's job, you know, all while having a baby. So that in itself, you are like superwoman, if you ask me. You know,
Thank you.
You got kids. I'm doing this shit, but you got kids and a man. How about that?
Woo, it's a rough life. It's a rough life.
But you're doing it, baby. You're doing it. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Speaking of being proud, let me tell you guys, Dawn was so proud of me that she came to my birthday party a day, early? What was it? What'd you do? Left me hanging?
So wait, we got to set this thing up. So Marlo sends out these elaborate invitations, and she's like, I'm having a party at my house. It's actually a sleepover, and about 20 of my friends are coming. You don't have to bring a damn thing. Don't worry about champagne. I got it all. Whatever brand you like, I got it. Don't worry about bringing no wine. I got it all. I got food. I got everything. Just bring you, your pajamas, and your toiletries. I was like, oh, I'm so coming. So again, I'm in Palm Springs, so I had packed my bag. I got all my cute pajamas, my slippers. I got all my stuff. So I wait and I wait. I'm like, I cannot wait to get there. So I pull up to her house. First of all, you got to go through like freaking presidential security. There's doorman and gates and all kinds of stuff to get to her house. And I'm talking about, what, Marlo? Your house is what, 7,000 square feet, 6,000 square feet? What is it?
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, whatever. So I pull up to this palatial estate, honey. And I'm like, is this like, am I being punked? Because there are no cars except her 3 cars in the driveway. I'm like, what the hell? So I ring the doorbell. She comes down in her pajamas. She's like, Dawn, the party was yesterday. You missed it.
So we had a party.
She's like, but come in. I still got champagne. I still have food. And we're going to celebrate my birthday, just me and you. And we did just that.
Man, you
guys can't see her, but she is cracking up laughing. But we literally had a blast.
Yes, we did. A party for two. Party for two. Oh my God. So has the coronavirus affected what you're doing right now with your renovations and helping people?
actually gotten more work now than I had before, believe it or not. And I think it's because of the fact that people are spending time at home. They're in their environment. They are like, you know, finding things
like
wrong.
That wall right
They're
there.
like, that light bulb is, how long, baby, that light bulb has been out? Matter of fact, I hate that light. Why do we even have that light here?
Right.
Or, you know, they know that they have a beautiful backyard or whatever, and it's time, you know. And what I've really come to grips with is that the coronavirus has actually, I think, made people a little more humble. It's sad. We've lost a lot of people, but in the interim, we also have gained our, I think, sensibilities. I think that this is a point in which, if you don't know by now that we need each other, I don't know what's going to wake you up.
I'm working on some of my hate.
You're working on your hate. Listen,
I'm getting rid of some of the hate. I have some hate in my heart.
Well, listen, hate is something. Hate is another 4-letter word. It's just another 4-letter word. Just change it around to love. You know, love is even better. Love is a beautiful space to live in.
Hard on it, working hard.
I'm going to send you some stuff. We're going to change that around. I'm going to come over. You got to invite me over again for one of those rendezvous at your country club. That's another story to tell. Your country club and those 2 gentlemen that joined us.
What did they do?
Remember the investors for your newfound business?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That was a good day. I mean, you know, things like that. That's why, you know, I say you got to hang around with like-minded people, because, you know, I try to stay in the realm of successful people who don't have anything, you know, they have as much to lose as I do.
Absolutely.
Because when you lower your standards and you hang out with people that don't have anything to lose or don't value friendships or relationships, you get caught up in that drama. You get caught up in that negative energy, and you find yourself like, you know, what am I doing here? I have nothing in common with them. So I've learned that my time is so valuable that I'm not going to that event. I don't want to watch that TV show. I don't want to go watch that movie, because it's not bringing me any value. It's not bringing me any joy, and that's not enlightening me. And I learned that too, even like when I was telling you, like at an early age, that if I'm in the room with greatness, my light is shining just as bright as theirs. I will never dim my light when I walk in a room. I don't care who's in the room. My light is going to be just as bright as yours.
This pandemic brought that out of me as well. I am no longer available to waste my time.
Right.
My time is everything to me.
Absolutely.
I can't get it back. I can make more money. I cannot get my time back. Before I let you go, I just want you to know, because I know that you have styled some very amazing people. I actually put on makeup. I combed my hair a little bit.
You combed your hair for me. Thank you.
I threw some curls in it.
You're crazy, Marlo.
I threw some curls in it. I'm not gonna lie, I comb it every day, but I put, you know, a little extra on it. And I actually put on real clothes. And so hold on, because
it looks good.
This is a back walk.
I heard of a catwalk. I never heard of back. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Let me see the shoes.
Ooh.
Listen. You doing the most. I am not mad.
Oh.
I love how your shoes match your lips. Let me see the inside, because I know they're extra special. Good God. Jimmy Choo. I love it all.
As long as I got your...
Take me shopping, Marlo. I need to go shopping with you.
Somebody got
it. I love everything you did.
Right? No, we got each other. I appreciate you.
I love you, Marlo.
Anyway, thank you for the approval. Now I can wear this outside the house and feel good about myself that I did okay.
You did great. You did awesome. Thank you for getting dressed for me. I love it. And I think that, listen, I wouldn't change a thing. You look great. I would not change one thing. Are those pads in the shoulders?
Yes, I'm not that buff.
He's silly.
I actually don't.
They look great though, because they make your waist look smaller. That's the great part about shoulder pads.
Okay, shoulders are already fairly broad, so
right. Well, you look good. I think you look great.
Yeah, you too.
And your makeup looks fantastic. I'm not really a person who wears makeup.
So I don't either. This is for you. This is like I cannot get on with Don, the
He's so
celebrity
crazy.
stylist, and look, like I just crawled out of bed. Anyway, thank you for coming on Business Bullish. Make sure I tag you. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
My Facebook is Dawn Marie Haynes, or it is Dawn to Dusk Haynes. I'm on IG. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. You need me.
Got it. I'm going to tag you and everything so everyone knows exactly where to go at the press of a button.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dawn. I will talk to you soon.
You're welcome. I love you too. Kisses.